Yo, what it do? Welcome to Mindcast. What's up? What's up? What's up? We are live. Man, y'all, just this week has just been crazy for me. But what's up, y'all? What's up? I'm back. For those who are new to my channel, and this is probably like the first video you're watching, my name is Tyler Lewis. I'm an author, entrepreneur, and public speaker. And I'm also a multi-purpose individual who's not limited by anything, only by what I limit myself to. So I want to thank all of y'all. I just want to take my time right now to just thank people. Just thank y'all for the love and support, those who love and support me. So today, on today's live and today's video, I will be discussing why you are full of greatness. Again, the first 64 lives that I'll be doing over the course of this year is all geared and focused around my book, Word to Self. If you don't know what Word to Self is, the book is powerful statements to help reshape how you think about yourself in life using affirmations. So affirmations are designed to translate you from one way of thinking to another way of thinking. And I always say, if your mind isn't right, your life isn't right. And that is the purpose for this podcast, is to help people get their minds right. That's what I'm here for. I'm help you to get your mind right so you can get your life right, because everything's connected. There's no differentiation. I don't know if that's a word, but there's no difference between your mind and your life. They're connected, and one influences the other. So you have to focus on the one that influences the other and build and grow it. And make sure that it's in the right place so that whatever you build, what the reciprocal of that, your life can reflect how your mind is. So yeah, that's my book, Word to Self. And I'll be doing 64 lives, and each live is me discussing one of the affirmations in my book. And the discussion that we're having today is why you are full of greatness. And it comes from an affirmation in my book that I say to myself, and that you should say to yourself, is that I'm full of greatness. I am full of greatness. So today I'll be discussing with you, what is greatness? What type of greatness do we have, or what type of greatness are we carrying? Because we always hear about it, just greatness. Oh, you're great. But what does that really mean? And then how does that show up in your life? So that's what I'll be talking about today. And let's get straight into it. First, I want to talk about what greatness is. What is greatness? What does it mean? What does it mean to have greatness, or what does it mean to be great? So I'm gonna go here to my notes real fast. So what does greatness mean? This is from the internet, but I'm gonna give you my own definition based on the information that I have and I have acquired. Is the quality of being great or distinguished and eminent. So that's what the internet gave me for their definition of greatness. And I want to say to you that I'm going to use one word from their definition that will better help you understand what greatness is. So the word distinguished in that, little statement or little description of what greatness means, it means to recognize or treat someone as different. That's what distinguished means, or being distinguished. And that's just saying that because of what you carry, you are treated differently. And we can see this in the world with a whole plethora of people. Like, there's so many people who are treated or recognized a certain way or a different way from other people because of what they're carrying or what's inside of them. And this is what greatness is. Greatness is the ability that is within you. That's all greatness is. Greatness is the ability. It's the ability that you're able to operate at. And because you were given a certain amount of greatness, or you were given just greatness in general, or or the reason why you have greatness within you is because you are able and you have the ability to operate at at the spectrum, or what greatness is. You have the ability to operate at a certain level. Anything greater than 0 means that it's great. 1 is greater than 0. So we consider 1 as a greater number because it's more than nothing. I hope I'm making sense. And that's what it means to have greatness within you. It's meaning that you're not empty. It's meaning that you're not useless, or you have no ability. It's saying that when you say I am great, or I am full of greatness, you're saying I am full of something greater than nothing. That's what you're saying. And that something is ability or potential. That word potential just means ability. Like when somebody says you have the potential to do that, what they're saying is you have the ability within you already to operate at this certain level. And what it comes down to, are you going to let that ability, that greatness come forth? I actually did a little quick reel on my Instagram, and I was talking about greatness, and I was talking about the type of greatness that we have inside of us. And it's a greatness that is meant to be released. It just like water. It's just imagine yourself as a pipe, and you're full of water, and then you get clogged. That water, I'm just using it as an example for greatness. That water inside of you, if it's stuck and there's something blocking it from coming out, eventually it's going to burst. Eventually that pipe is going to burst. So when you don't allow the greatness or your ability or your potential to flow out of you, what you're capable of doing at the highest level, you can destroy yourself. And that's what I was talking about in the reel, is that we have this immense greatness within us that's not meant to be constrained. It's meant to be released. I forgot what word I used for the type of greatness that we have, but our greatness resembles, like, I want to say like acid. It resembles like acid. And if you don't use acid for the things that acid is meant to be used for, you can damage yourself. And just look at your greatness as that. Look at it as something you need to release. Because if you don't, it's going to affect you. That's what greatness, that's the type of greatness that you carry. The ability, the capability, the potential to operate, to function, to live at a certain level. And that level is only contingent upon you. That's what greatness is. So when you say I am full of greatness, you're saying I'm full of the ability, the potential, and the capability to do a certain thing. Going back to that example, because it's a perfect example. When somebody says, you have the potential to do this. When somebody tells you have the potential to do this, they're actually seeing what you don't see. They're seeing the greatness that is within you. They're seeing your ability, capability, and potential to do a certain thing at the highest level. So if somebody says, I see potential in you to being the best basketball player. They're not saying that cliche. They're not just saying that casually. They're not just like just trying to make you feel good. They're being real serious. They're like, yo, you don't really understand the type of greatness that you carry. You don't understand the type of, capability that you carry. And it's the reason why I believe and I know that you can be an NBA player. That's what that means. And the distinguishing part when it comes to greatness is each and every one of us was given our own unique gifts or our own unique skills or our own unique, character. And this is where the greatness, because we all have the same amount of greatness, but this is where the greatness that we all have, it can pipeline through something. So it will come out of individuals differently because we have been given our own characteristics, our own uniqueness, our own distinguishing from others. So when you tap into that greatness that is within you, that potential, that capability to do a certain thing at the highest level, when you tap into that, you can operate in your greatness. You can live out your greatness. And I said this earlier when I did my story. It's like I struggle with tapping into that greatness. I'm not perfect, but the mindset you need to have when you say that to yourself, I always got to remind myself I am full of greatness. When you have to continually remind yourself that, because the more you know about yourself, the more you can be yourself. And I hope y'all taking notes. The more you know about yourself, the more you can be yourself. Appreciate it, bro. Trevor Ledford, appreciate it, bro. But the more you know about yourself, the more you can be yourself. The more you know about the greatness, the capability, the ability, the potential that is within inside of you, the more you can live that out, the more you can express that greatness. Because anything that is meant to be released and you allow it to be contained, eventually it will bust out of whatever's containing it. That's how your greatness is. Your greatness is meant to be released. And if you try and constrain, if you try and limit yourself, constrain yourself to just probably working a 9-to-5, like, oh, this is what it is. When your greatness is saying, no, let's build a business, or let's do this, or you can do that. Or if one of your family members are reminding you, like, hey, you have the potential to do this. Why are you doing that? Eventually, it's just going to start eating away at you. Your own greatness, your own ability, your own capability, because you're going to be thinking in your mind like, wow, bro, what am I doing? I can do more than this. And when you continue to keep on doing what you're doing that's not in accordance or in alignment with your greatness, your greatness is going to keep eating away at you. Let me read the comments. What's your biggest motivation to do all the time? Where is all come from? Really? I want to touch on your question, bro, but I just want to I'm going to touch on it at the end. I promise you, I'm going to touch on it at the end. But I'm going to just keep moving forward with this. But your greatness, your greatness needs to be released. It has to. You can't hold back what you're capable of doing. Like when my mentor, leadership is so important. I'm gonna do a live and a discussion on why everyone needs leadership. and I'm going to discuss the different layers or different types of leadership and which one to go for or which one to look for. But my mentor, he makes sure to let me know every time he can, or every time I'm around him, that I have the ability to do something that otherwise I think I can't do. He always does that. And that's another part I want to touch into. Changing the way you think about yourself. There's sometimes I'll be like, man, can I really do this? Like, you want to change that way of thinking, of doubting yourself or second guessing yourself. And this is why I said, the more you know about yourself, the more you can be yourself. The more I know about myself, the more I can be myself. That's why I don't care what anybody says about me. And that's why I'm careful about what I say about myself. Because that's where the real, opinions come from, of what you say about yourself. So I have to be very mindful about how I think about myself and not only what I say to myself, because it affects how I operate, it affects how I function, and it affects my greatness coming out. And this is what I'm trying to get you to understand. It's based on how you think about your greatness and based on what you know about your greatness. Like I said, greatness is ability. The ability to function at a certain level. Greatness is potential, which means ability. And whenever something is great, that's meaning it's more than zero. That's all that great means. It's more than zero. And what I'm saying to you is, you're more than zero. You're not nothing, you're something. And because you are something, because you are greater than zero, means you can operate greater than zero. That's what I'm saying. That's the point of that affirmation when you say it to yourself. I am full of greatness. You're saying I am full of less than zero. Or more, I am full of more than zero. Excuse me. That's what you're saying. You're saying I am full of more than zero, because anything more than zero is great. That's where greatness comes from. That's where the concept, the idea comes from. Anything less than zero means you're less. Anything greater than zero means you're great. And that's what it means. And that's what I mean when I say that to myself. And the reason why I put it in the book is you are greater than zero. And what is inside of you is greater than zero, which means you can operate more than zero. You can operate greater than zero. You can operate greater than nothing. That's what that means. I hope I'm explaining it to where you understand it, because it's not hard to understand. It's hard to accept. That's the real battle when it comes to real information and very practical information. I mean, sometimes it's hard to hear that, that truth. But the real battle and the real hard part is accepting it. Is because you know it in your heart. You know in your heart, like, dang, what he's saying is like hitting me. I feel that. But then you get to a point, and the battle starts right there, is, am I going to accept this? Am I going to accept the fact that I truly do have greatness within me? I truly can operate at a level greater than zero. Can I truly operate at a level greater than my job? Can I truly operate at a level greater than my school? That's what it means when I say you are full of greatness. You are full of the ability to operate greater than zero. And I'm going to use zero as your current situation. Wherever you are right now in life, whether that be in a job or the classroom or whatever, or on the streets, or I don't know, wherever you are right now, even if you think you in a pretty good place, I'm gonna take that and show you that you can go farther. So wherever you are right now, I'm using the example. I'm gonna use zero to symbolize where you are right now. So wherever you are right now, you can do greater than where you are right now. You can be greater than who you are right now. Again, greatness is more than zero, greater than zero. Anything greater than zero, anything greater than your current situation, you can do it. Anything greater than who you are today, you can be. That's what it means. Anything greater than your current situation or anything greater than your current way of thinking, you can operate at that level. Greater than your current way of thinking, greater than your current circumstance, greater than how you live right now. You can operate greater than that. That's what it means. Because the real battle is with ourselves. It's really not against nobody. The battle is with yourself. And it sucks that it is that way, but it is that way is because people before us and the system that we are in has indoctrinated us with information to question ourselves, to not know ourselves, to not be ourselves. So when we start to unlock, when this information starts to be shared, the information that I'm sharing with you, when this information starts getting into your mind and into your ear, into your life, it's a battle. You're not fighting nobody or your situation. You're fighting yourself, because you have to accept. Acceptance just means this is what it is. I'm full of greatness. What? Who has a problem? And I'm not going to have a problem with myself, knowing that I'm full of greatness. That's what it means when you say that to yourself. I am full of greatness. I am full with the ability. I'm full with the ability to do more or operate more at a level greater than this podcast. I can do that, and I will do that. I can operate greater than my business, than what I'm doing right now with my business or with my book. I can operate way higher. I can do something way higher than that. And that idea is what I'm sharing with y'all. Is that this greatness within you is the ability. Everyone has been given the same amount of the same ability. And that ability is to think. And that ability is to do. Now, I know it's different for some people. Not everybody can do that. I understand that. But a majority, I'm talking about the majority. A majority of people on this planet can do that. But it comes when you come to yourself and say, hey, I'm gonna do more than this. Because I have the ability, I have the greatness within me to do that. I'm gonna do more than this 9 to 5. Or working 4 or 5 days a week, busting my head open, trying to make a living. I can do more than this. This is zero. And what's inside of me is greater than zero. So that means that I can do greater than this. That's the mindset. When you think like that, can't nobody stop you. And a great example of this truth that I'm giving you when it comes to the greatness that's within you. Two men, I'm going to say two men who are great examples of this. One is his name is David Goggins. He's I don't think he's ex. He's still a Navy SEAL, and he went through like all the courses of the Navy SEAL, and he really showed the world greatness, that you have the same ability. You could do the same thing I can do. And there's another man. His name is the Iceman. This man can literally go on an iceberg shirtless, just with some short shorts, and sit there in the cold. How are these two individuals able to do this? It's because they understand their greatness. They understand they have been given the ability to operate more than zero. They understand that their only genetic makeup, spiritual makeup, emotional makeup, mental makeup is greatness. And it operates zero, anything greater than zero is great. So they understand that I'm able to operate greater than zero. So that means, yeah, I'm cold right now, but that's zero. I have been given the ability to operate greater than zero. And that's what these men did. And that's what you can do. He said, yeah, I'm going through the Navy SEAL course and the Marine in the Marine course, and I'm gonna do this. I think he did like I don't even know how many mile run this dude named David Goggins with a broken leg, and he's peeing blood and all this other stuff. He understood that was zero. And he understood that what's inside of him, the greatness within him, was saying, you can do greater than zero. You are greater than zero. So he went to 10. Shoot. He went to 10 and finished the race, finished the Navy SEAL, training. And it's the same thing for the ice dude, for the Iceman. I think that's what it's called. I don't know his actual name, but his character name, or just who he is his name's Iceman. This man understood that what's inside of me is greater than zero. So therefore, I'm able to operate greater than zero. So bro went to like a 20. Bro can sit in freezing temperature, like hypothermia type water, for hours. This is what it means. And y'all can look up those two examples I just gave you. Those two individuals. I just gave you and see what I'm talking about is true. I'm not just trying to encourage you on here. I'm trying to get you to see who you truly are. And not only to get you to do that, but to get you to live and be who you truly are. That's it. When I heard about those two individuals, and there's many more, but when I heard about those two individuals, what I'm telling you right now became more clear to me. The truth that we are full of greatness became way more true to me. Because these two individuals proved it. And I'm gonna prove it. Why? Because what's inside of me is greater than zero. So I'm going to a billion. Why? Because I can. I'm going to a billion. And my question is to you is where are you going? How far are you going? How far are you going to be great? Because you're full of greatness. How far are you going to be great? How far are you going to let your true ability go? Because anything greater than zero, that means you can go anywhere on the spectrum, on the number spectrum. And that's my question to you. How far are you going to go? Because you already have the greatness within you, the ability, the capability to do that. Those two men understood that they already had the greatness, the capability, and the ability to operate at that certain level. To operate at 20, which is greater than zero. And still, they can operate even more. It doesn't stop. There's no limit to your greatness. There's no limit. Anything greater than zero. So we don't even know how many numbers out there, how many extra numbers that there are out there. The billion, the trillion, the quintillions, the isavillions. I don't know. But you get what I'm saying. That you have that ability, that capability to operate at the highest level. You have it. And when you do that, because of who you are, your character, your unique character, your unique traits that have been specifically designed and implemented into you. We are all different from each other when it comes to characteristics, and personality. And when you operate in your greatness, it shows up differently. We all have the same amount of unlimited greatness, but because of who you are, your character, your personality, and the way that greatness shows up, it's going to be distinguished from other people. So now we can remove that idea of or that way of thinking to be like everybody else. Then it literally puts you in your own lane to be yourself, to be you. And it helps you know that nobody's really greater than you in the sense of what you carry, because we all carry the same amount of greatness. Somebody may be greater to you in the sense of that they're utilizing what's inside of them, which is the greatness that's within them. That will make somebody greater than you. But it doesn't mean you can't be greater. It doesn't mean you just stop. It doesn't mean you can't reach that level or go beyond it. So then it removes competition. And competition isn't bad, but I'm saying competition in a toxic way. Like people trying to be people or people trying to be better than people. That's what I mean by the toxic competition. It removes that because of your own personal personality and characteristics. Your greatness flows through that when you utilize it, and it shows up differently in the world. So that makes you distinguished. That makes you a distinguished individual in a world where everyone is full of greatness, but you're using and utilizing your greatness, and it's just showing up differently. But people recognize greatness. You're it's not like you're separated. You're separate in a sense. You're in your own lane, and your greatness, how it's flowing, is in its own lane. But because we are all full of greatness, people can recognize your greatness and be like, man, this man is great. Like Michael Jordan, his own character and personality is what his greatness flowed out of. But people still notice the greatness. That's why he's called the greatest of all time. Or Kobe Bryant. Is because they recognize, like, this man is operating. He's going greater than zero. He understands what's inside of him. And that's how he earned to become and be the greatest of all time in basketball. And it's not saying that nobody else can be the greatest of all time. What that's saying is, if you want to be the greatest of all time, are you going to use your ability? Are you going to operate in your greatness? And it comes down to you. The reason why Kobe Bryant became the greatest of all time is because he used his ability and he trusted in himself, and he just beed himself. He didn't want to try and be like Michael Jordan. He wanted to be greater than Michael Jordan. I wonder who you want to be like. But I also wonder, do you want to be greater than that person? Like, I know there's some amazing all-time, like, the greatest public speakers in the world. But I want to be greater than them. And there's nothing against that person. And it's nothing against nobody to want to be greater. You're just operating in your nature. You're just operating how you're supposed to. You're supposed to think that way. You're supposed to want to be greater than the individual who's already in the greater space. It's nothing against that person. It's just you. It's you saying to yourself, I understand my ability, and I'm going to operate at the ability, at the greatness that I know I can operate at. That's all you're saying. And that's all anybody who's saying that. That's all Kobe Bryant was saying. It's like, yeah, Michael Jordan, he's great. But I want to be greater. Why? Because I understand my ability. I understand I'm full of greatness. Yeah, some of these public speakers are probably amazing. And they're probably categorized as great. But I want to be greater. Simple as that. Because I understand my ability. And I understand and I know that I'm going to do what it takes. And that's how you have to look at your life. That's how you have to see yourself. You have to say, hey, this person I'm looking up to, like they're great, man. But I want to be greater. And I'm going to be greater. That's the mindset. That's the mentality. And that's how you have to see yourself. So I hope everything that I said was insightful, was empowering, was, note-taking, and also was, helpful for you operating in your greatness and being yourself. So I hope the information that I shared was helpful in that way to initiate you to start operating at your fullest potential, operating in your greatness, living in your greatness. And I also hope this encouraged you and maybe inspired you to know more about yourself so that you can be more of yourself. So that's the discussion, y'all, of why you are full of greatness. That's the discussion. So I want to thank all of y'all who's on here. Let me answer Trevor Ledford's question. What's your biggest motivation to do all the time? To do this all the time, where does it all come from? So my motivation comes from my why. And the why is just why I'm doing this. It's the knowledge of why, it's the knowledge of my actions, or the reason for my actions is my why. And my why for doing this is I care about people. I care about people to the degree that I understand the number one thing and the number one problem facing every human being on this planet right now is the mind. It's how we think. And that why gives me the motivation to do what I'm doing, to help people change the way they think so that they can change their life. Like I said in the introduction, there's no difference between your mind and life. Your mind influences your life, and life influences your mind. But where does it all start? With the mind. So if your mind is right, if your mind is cultivated and transformed and changed and cared for and constructed in a way that you want your life to be, your mind literally becomes your life. It literally becomes the reflection. So based on how you think is based on what you will have. If you think you're just going to be poor the rest of your life is going to be poor. Everything in your life is going to be poor because your mind only reflects what you give it into your life. And it shapes your life in that way. That's why I said I have to be very careful what I say to myself, what I let go into my mind, and what I also let go out of my mind into my life. Because it shapes my life. So it's always best to have a clear picture of how you want your life to look. That helps you to have a clear picture of how you're supposed to think, how you're supposed to imagine, how you're supposed to create, how you're supposed to solve problems. And that's what gives me the motivation to do what I do. And where does this all come from? Again, it comes from leadership. It also comes from experience, and it comes from the divine, the most high, the creator, the one who knows all. And because I'm connected and reconciled back to the one who knows all, I'm allowed to know all. I'm allowed to go to the source to get information that I need to give to people. That's where it all comes from. I just be getting downloads, yeah, I need this right now. Boom, I get it. For the people. I care about people at that level, like I really do. Because there's a statement that's said, and it's a very true statement. And it's actually in the Word of God or the Bible. It says, "My people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge." Why did the Most High, why did the Creator say that? Because He understands that your mind is the key to not having a destroyed life. The knowledge, what you put into your mind, the things that you say. The things you say to yourself is knowledge. What you say to yourself, how you think about yourself, what you say to others, what you say about your life, how you think about things is destroying His people. So that's my spill on your question, and that's the answer to that question. So, but we're getting close to that time, y'all. I want to thank all of those who are on, and then if you wasn't on, just watch this video afterwards. Again, if you haven't already, just to keep track with the lives, I suggest you get a copy of my book. It's on Amazon. The link is actually in my profile or in my my YouTube channel. So you can find the link. It's on Amazon. Get a copy of my book, Word to Self. For real. It's more than just a book. It's a real lifestyle. And I'm the living example of it. Everything in the book is what I say to myself. And it's working. It's literally working. So I encourage you all to get a copy of my book. And I hope this was helpful. Not only helpful, but I hope this initiated in you to start living out and operating in your greatness. And to also go on the journey within yourself, because the more you know about yourself, the more you can be yourself. So I hope this helped you to go on that journey within yourself so that you can be yourself. That's it, y'all. I will be updating y'all. Make sure to follow me on Instagram if you haven't already. That's where I do the updates on when I'm going to do my next live and everything like that. And I'm going to update y'all on the next live. But with that being said, I'm out. Peace.